All right, guys, I got a confession to make. I've been a bit disappointed lately, and so I want to go over some reasons for that and what I'm going to do about it. And if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know, but I'm a 63-year-old skater. I've been inline skating now, be a year this month, actually, in September. And I've gotten recently back on the skateboard after a long time off. Being 63, I've got some injuries, and the biggest one I've got is I've got arthritis really bad in my right knee from a motorcycle injury I had in my 20s. And that's really causing me a lot of discouragement and disappointment. So what it is like a vicious cycle. It's my knee hurts. When my knee hurts, I skate bad. When I skate bad, I fall more. When I fall more, I get hurt and my knee hurts. So it's just a round and round and round vicious cycle. So let's talk about some things that I'm getting ready to try and get myself back in the groove. And maybe it'll help you if you're discouraged at some point in your progress or your skating. And so let's get to it. So I think my biggest discouragement is I haven't quite been making the progress that I'd like to make lately, all because of my knee. So there's a couple things, really 4 things that are kind of a factor in being discouraged. And probably the first one is expectations. You know, I'm 63 years old, and I love that adage, age is just a number, but it doesn't apply to everything. Definitely mentally, I still feel young. But physically, I don't have the mobility I used to have. I don't have the speed I used to have. And so I've got to set some realistic expectations for myself. I can't really think that I'm going to progress like I was progressing when I was 20, 30 years old. Running was probably a great example of that. I ran all my life competitively, and I realized in my 50s that I was just never going to reach that level again. No matter how hard I trained, I was not going to run like I could in my 30s. And so I had to set some realistic expectations for that. And so I got to change my expectations on the board and the inlines as well. I think the second big way to be discouraged is to compare yourself to others. And even compare yourself to your former self. So especially if you're older and you're coming back after a big layoff, and you're trying to compare your progress now to what you did, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, that's just a recipe for being discouraged. And, you know, certainly the internet makes it so much easier for you to compare yourself to others. You know, I watch YouTube just like everybody else, and I see all these guys, even guys that are my age, that are just so much better than I am. And it's just hard. It's hard to not be discouraged when you see these guys doing it, but you have to realize that your progress is your progress. You know, nobody's in charge of your progress but you, and you can't compare yourself to anybody. You just have to go. You got to go at your own pace, and just be happy with whatever pace you've got and not compare yourself to others. So that's just a big way to be discouraged. And I just got to stop comparing myself to other people, especially my son, who we started skating at exactly the same time. He's 20 and he's progressing like exponentially, well, way faster, even more exponentially faster than I am. So you know, the fact that he's my son is great, because I'm as happy for him to be progressing as I am myself. But I gotta admit, there's a little bit of jealousy there of how fast he's progressing, and I just got to get that out of my mind and move on. So that's number 2, is comparison. And so the third thing is kind of getting stuck in a rut. You know, if you keep trying the same things over and over and over, and they're just not working for you, or they're disappointing, try something different. So today I'm out here in the parking lot of the skate park and doing something that is different than anything else. I'm out here, I got me a cruiser board at the local used sporting goods store. So I'm just out cruising today. My leg is really sore. I took a bad slam this week on the inline skates and hurt my knee. And so I'm just out here today cruising on the cruising board. I got this So yeah, just you know, if you get stuck in a rut, try something different. Try urban skating if you're, you know, stuck in the park and not making progress, or like I said, try cruiser board if you're stuck in the park and not making progress. So just you know, something different can shake it up a little bit for you and get you back in the groove. And the fourth thing and last thing is just kind of losing your joy in the process. You know, I know sometimes you get so focused on progress that you kind of lose the joy of being out here. And like Ricardo Lino always says on his videos, you know, you skate because you started skating because it's fun, and that's the reason you should skate. Inline, skateboard, any kind of skating, you should skate because it's fun. And when it stops being fun, you got to kind of look at your motivation. You know, are you comparing yourself? Are you trying to progress with unrealistic expectations? You know, what's making it not fun? Because ultimately, you might not progress every time you're out here, but every time you're out, you should have fun. And if you're not, then you just got to reassess your priorities. And so what does all this mean for my skating, you know, and what am I going to do to kind of get out of this discouragement funk? So I think the first thing for me is in the expectation category. I've decided that I'm not going to try to grind on anything that's a foot high or over. You know, I can grind on small stuff. I can grind on the 6-inch up to maybe 8 inches, but like air park, everything is at least a foot high, and it hurts my legs so bad to try to jump on those. And I've worn myself out over the past few months trying to jump on the rail and on the ledge. And so I've just decided it's not worth it for me. It's not worth the pain. It's not worth sitting at home with a sore knee. So I'm giving that up, and I'm not gonna miss it because grinding's not my favorite thing in the world. Skating the transitions is. So I got plenty to do that will keep me busy for at least the rest of my skating career, and never having ground anything tall is not going to be a problem for me. So that's number one in the expectation category. Now second for me is probably something in the try something new category, and I have been doing it quite a bit more lately, especially if you've watched my latest videos. Is I've been looking for new lines, just, you know, trying to find new lines in the park, trying something new. And that's just been a lot of fun. I can come out here and try new lines without a lot of pain, and so that's something to keep it fresh. And trying this new skateboard, you know, trying the cruising, looking at big wheels on the inlines, maybe getting a set of frames that hold some bigger wheels so I can maybe do some urban skating. So that's just something I'm doing now, is trying to find new stuff, new lines, new things to do on the board. So that's number two. And now third is something I tried to start on the inline skates when I got hurt last winter, with kind of mixed success, but I'm really gonna try to focus on it a little bit more now, and that's spending a little more time on each, I wouldn't say trick, but each kind of aspect of skating. So, you know, kind of master one thing. For me, that's not how I normally operate. Unfortunately, I'm one of these kind of guys that I'm all over the place. I come to the park and I try to do 50 things, and none of them well sometimes. So I'm just gonna try to concentrate on one or two things. I'm gonna have a plan when I come to say, hey, I'm working on this today, and that may be all I work on that whole day. For sure, I'm gonna do, for me, I think drop-ins are probably one of the more fragile tricks, and I'm gonna do those. I tend to try to do those at least 10 times every time I come on the inlines or the board, just even if what I'm doing that day doesn't call for them, just to keep my mind fresh with those things. But so yeah, that's number three, is just try to concentrate more on one thing and kind of master it before I move on. And so lastly for me is something I don't struggle with quite as bad, and that's making every skate fun. As I said, you're not always going to make progression every single time you skate, but every time you skate should be fun. And I generally don't have a problem with that, but I do come out some days when I'm sore, and I would rather just skate around than try tricks So I'm just going to try and concentrate every time I come, just have fun. I may or may not do something new. I may or may not do, you know, I may not even work on a trick that day. I may just cruise around like I'm doing today. So just have fun with it and never lose sight of the fact that that's why you started, is because it's fun. This sport is incredibly fun, inlines and the board. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Again, I hope some of this stuff helps you. If you got any kind of discouragement whatsoever, maybe some of these tips will be helpful. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Again, I love your comments. If you've had some times when you've been discouraged and came out of it, give me a shout and let me know how you did it. Maybe you've got some different things that you struggle with that I don't. So shoot me a comment, let me know. And again, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.